Hang on. Hey guys, welcome to Redmond's Corner. Store's closed right now, so I don't have a mask on. Mike and I are. That's right. So I got a pair of skates that somebody left overnight to sharpen. I didn't even know what kind of blades there yet until I take the soaker off. Ooh, matrix. So we have a couple of different jigs that we use for figure skating. So this one here, Blade Master jig. This one's great for matrix because you mount it this way, and you can see here it actually clamps down on this post and this post right here, as opposed to a traditional figure skating jig for traditional skates that mounts a little bit differently. So there's a new blade on the market. It's called Phoenix, MK Phoenix. Awesome blade, super light, but there's a bit of a design issue, I think. If you look, there's a post here and there's a post in the back, and the post in the back seems to have a different contour than the front one. So that being said, on the Matrix one, they're identical. So when you put this straight bar across, it'll hold it comfortably and securely, I guess. So it won't move. But you try to put this on this jig. The problem is this part in the back, in here, and this part here, they're not consistent. So it ends up being a little bit crooked on the inside. So this jig isn't going to work. So we have a traditional hockey jig. Now, this one works for regular figure blades. Hope this one's got regular blades. It does. So this is a traditional figure skating blade, not Matrix, not Phoenix, not Revolution. And this side here is flat. This side here is completely flat. So you can take it in the jig and put it in, twist this down, pull this up, and now you're secure, right? And you're even. But with that design flaw on the Phoenix, it doesn't work, and you can't put the Phoenix into a traditional jig because this here angles this way, the sides of it, and this here angles this way. So like I said with the regular figure skating blade, it's real flat, so you can fit it in this one. If I try to put this blade into this jig, it barely goes in because it's so thick. I put it in like that, it's going to angle itself that way. So in order to get it to work, you're going to have to pitch this part here downward. It doesn't really work. So the only jig that we've found that it works on is a Wasota jig, which I typically don't use. I don't like it very much. But to get it on this way, and then put this bar in. So you can't pull it all the way back like this, because then it's going to be on that post, the one that I talked about earlier. So we kind of got to move it up just a little bit. And put it in like that. And then, I don't know if you can see this. I'll see if I can put it up here. But you can see here how this part down here on the bottom, I can barely get my finger under. And then this part here in the front, I can completely get my finger under. That's because it's pitched. I have to pitch this part of the jig this way in order to get the skate that way. Now, how do I tell if it's actually pitched correctly? Is I wish I had a smaller one of these. But this is a right angle square, right? So we take that from the bottom, and I put that flat. And see how it's touching both edges? Assuming this came in here with edges the same, that's gonna be square. If it wasn't, and I were to say, like, let's pitch this to where it is normal. So this dial here moves the back up and down, which will change that pitch angle. So I put the square on now. It's not really touching in the right spot, right? It's kind of angled a little bit. So that's why we have to pitch this downward to where it was before. And then I think I gotta go a little bit more. So twist this down a little bit more, put the square back on. Perfect. It's right on. So, as awesome as the blade is, I was talking to a friend of mine, Tim Burt from over in Tampa. He's a pretty awesome skate tech down here in the Southeast. I was talking to him, you know, we talk about this all the time. It's great that Wilson came out with an amazing blade, but everybody can sell this blade. Very few people can sharpen it. So, I don't know very many people down here, number one, that have this jig, but I don't know if they're just trying to put on a traditional one. And I know, in talking with Wilson about it, they're going to get some sort of sharpening guide just to give to the average store that doesn't know how to do it. So, but for this pair, we're going to do is we're going to do a matrix. Love the Tiger Soakers. We're going to matrix one. So we're going to put this in the regular jig, in the regular matrix, the Blade Master one that I use, and we're going to fire it up. So twist it in. So one thing I do before I sharpen all the skates, just feel to make sure there's not like any really big burrs in there. If there are, this one doesn't have one, but if there are, I'm just going to stone it real quick before I do it, the side of it, the bottom of it, just to getting that off. I'm also going to check the edges too before I sharpen. Oh, this one's a little bit high in the front here, so I'm going to make that adjustment when I put it on the wheel. All right, so this particular skater skates the 1/2 inch hollow. So I grabbed a 1/2 inch spinner. We have all our spinners up on top here. These are 3 7/16, 1/2 inch, 9/16, and it goes into the flat bottoms. I think figure skaters are going to start using flat bottom sharpenings because that technology makes a lot of sense to take a lot of the drag out of the skate. I think the more drag you can take out, I mean, these girls, and boys, some of these skaters, sometimes they train for 4 or 5 hours. So if you're having less drag over those 4 or 5 hours, your legs are going to be less tired by the end of it. It's the same, theory on when using, leather boots and synthetic boots. Synthetic boots aren't going to absorb water like a leather boot will. So you dip a synthetic boot in water, pick it up, it's going to weigh relatively the same as it did before. Take a leather boot, dip it in water, it's going to weigh twice as much. It's going to be waterlogged. So after 4 or 5 hours of training, all that water, all the snow, all the sweat is going to be absorbed in your boot. They're going to weigh twice as much. So you're going to have the fatigue of being on the ice for 4 to 5 hours, and you're going to have extra fatigue because you're going to have, anchors on your feet. So synthetic one-piece boot technology is, no question the way figure skating is going to be in the future. So I'm just going to adjust the wheel to get it to 1/2 inch. And then what we're going to do is a couple test marks to see where our level is. Also remembering that this front part's a little bit high, so we can leave it a little bit high when doing our test marks. So I see so many videos on YouTube on people sharpening skates. They have like no clue what they're doing. I don't understand. Why would you go on YouTube and post a video? I don't know, maybe I don't have a clue. So these test marks are actually coming in like a little bit shallower than what's on here now. Possibly there's 7/16 on the skate, but I'm just doing what I'm told. They told me to sharpen 1/2 inch, so I'm sharpening 1/2 inch. So one of the big things when sharpening skates, I can tell that's cutting low already, I gotta move down. So is you want to be consistent in your speed and your pressure the whole way across. If you're consistent in your speed and your pressure, you're going to be burning the same amount of steel on the front and the back. So the longevity of the blade and the actual radius of the blade is going to remain the same, rather than if you put a lot of pressure on the front, no pressure in the middle, and a lot of pressure on the back, you're going to have a dent in front of the side of the toe pin. Another thing I see a lot too, and I don't know if you can get this or not, but there's a certain pattern that you use, a path when you're doing skates, and a lot of people go this way and then this way. If you go this way and then this way, you're going to put a big dent in the front there because that's going to be your initial contact point. So you actually have to be moving to the left before you actually touch the skate. So you don't go this way and this way, you actually go this way. Or this one there. That's going to be consistent burning steel on the front and the back. So we're going to do a couple more passes. I will say, They have a wheel on here that I don't like. It's called a Walnut Wheel. It's very gritty. It's okay for Matrix because it's got, it's very gritty. Matrix is stainless steel. But if it's an MK traditional blade or a Revolution, it's not very good because it's a pretty gritty wheel. It's going to eat up that blade in a hurry. So, got a bunch of good passes on here now. So I'm going to check the level. Actually, looks really good. This side's a little bit high. So I'm just going to adjust that by moving this dial down just a quarter of a turn. And I'm going to watch the wheel. And I can see on the wheel that it's cutting that top edge, which means it's lowering it. So, remember like one of my videos from a long time ago, I was like always good timing? Like Olivia Bell shows up and starts interrupting my story. So she shows up in the store right now. The store's closed, by the way. Lights are on, door was closed, but you know, it's okay. She gets a pass, she gets a pass. So, finish it up. The last couple passes, you just want to make sure that you're cutting the whole steel, top to bottom. You can see that by looking at the sparks. And then, feel the blade real quick. No burrs on there, double check it's level. It is, fits that front part too. Just feel it for should sharp. And that's it. Matrix blades I will stone. I don't stone Revolution blades, but I will put a little stone on these. To make sure that it's, make sure it doesn't have any burrs on it. So we're gonna hit up the other one, and again, different jigs, and I just noticed there's no permanent screws in the skate, so I'm gonna have to talk to that girl when she gets here. But we got Olivia skates to do next.
Can I say something quickly? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
Yeah, what she said. Any questions for your skating? Hockey? Do what she said. Like and subscribe.